Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my weekly podcast. Today, I have a very young politician, which I saw that she was very active during the electoral campaign in Albania for the Democratic Party. And I wanted to invite her to speak about youth politics in Albania and their engagement. So, ladies and gentlemen, Artjola Tabaku.
Thank you. Thank you, Eugene, for inviting me.
Thank you, Artjola, for coming. And Artjola, you are now podcasted. I just wanted to ask you, why did you start it with politics? Let's start from that.
I think my history is common throughout our the youth that engages within our party, within the Democratic Party, because I also come from a family and a background whose family was persecuted from the Communist Party back then, and then I grew up listening to terrible stories of what happened to my family members, to my relatives, and somehow I was born on Democratic Party. So even if I would choose, I would still choose to be on this party. So, and I've always followed politics through the television. I've always been informed about politics while growing up, but the last 4 years I became more active, or actually active on the Democratic Party. It was like more of I was almost finishing my studies. I was actually on second year of bachelor studies, as I remember. And I first engaged with the youth forum of the Democratic Party because it was kind of a call all the time that I had to do this, and I'm really glad I did it.
Very good.
And that's how it started. Time to time, depending also on political development. Also, my activity is more focused. I mean, it's more a bit more uh, tense. Let's say compared to times, for example, when I had to study or when I had to follow my professional career, etc., etc. But here I am.
Okay. And was it easy to combine politics and studies and work?
Actually, it wasn't, I wouldn't find difficulties on this because if I had to choose, this is wrong. Probably someone might say that is wrong, but if I had to choose between two of them, I would choose politics. And if I had to combine or give to one more or less, I would always put politics first, which is not good at all, but it was my passion. So
Well, I think it's very good
we
because
come to
you
the cliche saying that if you want you can do anything you want. So
exactly. But I think being active in politics is a very good thing because you help people, and Albania needs it. And I would like to ask you, like, how do you see other young people getting involved in politics? Because now it's summer, universities are finishing, holidays are starting, and that's why I wanted to have you as well on my podcast. As you know, youth, it's always called a bit lazy entering in politics. So,
well,
how is your experience in the field?
yes, actually, they are called lazy when it comes to politics, and I don't blame them, because doing politics is a thing, but also doing politics in Albania is a completely another thing. So, regarding to the summer part, yes, it is common. I'm active also on NGO organization that does activities for the youth, etc., etc., young and conservative, and we also do activities there. But during the summertime, it is more hard. So yes, the students go to their hometown, etc., etc. So it's normal not to have so much youth engaging into politics during summer. So and they are called a bit lazy. I wouldn't say so for youth engaging into Democratic Party, because they have always been engaging with politics, more or less, depending on the individuals, depending on what they do for a living. Because we also have the problem in here in Albania that if you are too active, the Socialist Party, for example, or individuals may threaten you with your workplace if you work somewhere, or if your workplace is exposed, etc., etc. But what I'm proud of the youth in Democratic Party is that they are so brave and they're always there, dependless, regardless if our party wins or loses the elections. So whatever the time they are there on the protests, on activities,
Okay, so they stay focused. So you say the youth
they
is active.
they stay focused. But what I don't like actually on the youth in general, not on Democratic Party in particular, but in general, yes, they are not only with politics a bit more, how you can say, not active or, but in general, in every topic that is related to their social life or that actually they have to be, they should be interested on, they are not so interested in. So I think that is
Yeah.
a combination of social media, of all of that sort of information that youth nowadays fill their heads on, and they don't pay attention to important topics that they should.
But do
So
you think it's also an investment of the current government in Albania, trying not to have a young generation active and
definitely.
focused on the real matters of the country?
Definitely, and I've always said that since the government started to do those educational reforms back then, like on 2016 it was. I don't remember. I don't quite remember, but I was in high school back then, and they started to change the curricula at school, so make anything easier. And some people, while some people saw this something, okay, it's gonna be more easy even to go on universities, the curriculums will be easier. But I was strongly believing that, turned out I was right, that government was actually doing that on purpose to create massive masses of people and of young generation that don't care too much, that don't think too much. So because someone who doesn't think too much on their own can be easily manipulated. So, and not to go in deep with the educational part, but so yeah, that is,
Okay.
I strongly believe that, and I hope that it will be stopped with
Okay.
this what have happened. But I'm afraid that through the coming years, educational system will be much worse, and not only the education system, but anything. I do believe that this government will do anything on their power to weaken not only the young generation, but any generation of this country, to be less to be careless about the matters that actually matter on the country's future, or on anything else. It's more like a globalistic,
Yeah.
thing.
And what I wanted to ask you, because often I come with this question, like young people study, they have a higher degree at their university, like a bachelor or master, but let's say master, and then they do not have a job in their respective field. And I see that the government is building, a lot of hotels. They say it's very proud about the tourism in the country. So then you have high level people who are working as waiters. Do you think that this is something that is real? It's going to be here, or is going to change?
I,
Or they
I
are going
think
to leave the country?
I think that is real, and I find it okay until the young people that have these degrees and do their own decision. I mean, having the possibility to go on to work on their profession, or and also choosing between going to work as a waiter, for example, in the south, as long as it's their decision, without being influenced. But yes, the main problem after you get a degree, not only the master, because um, actually not all, there are a huge amount of students who don't pursue their master studies, which is completely fine. But as long as they want to start a job on their profession, here the difficulty starts. Even, for example, I have studied electronic engineering, and I don't work quite as an electronic engineer, but it's something like similar to the field, is software tester, and I'm happy with that. But I also had difficulties on finding a job that is exactly on my profession and related to the alternative working places, as in the south, or whatever workplaces they are opened. I do believe actually this is, I wouldn't say this is kind of a politics, but once you don't have other options, that is what you're gonna do. So which is completely fine. I recall that is completely fine as long as you decide to do that, but not government implying you to do so.
Yeah, exactly. Because what is
We have
the idea behind my question is like, for example, if you study maths, where are you going to work as a mathematician except of teaching maths at schools? But then if you want to do research and extend it, it's a
that is
problem.
that is unimaginable here in Albania, especially if you study for such subjects as math or physics or whatever. Only thing that pops up into your mind is just like teaching. And also for the teaching, what did they do? Because a lot of students weren't choosing this kind of fields anymore, this study programs, and they were like lowering the average, the how you can call it, to be accepted. So
Yeah.
the acceptance criteria were lowered, which means another damage to the educational system, because you're supposed to educate teachers. So they are all connected to each other.
Okay. And how do you see Albania, as there is the big discussion of the enlargement, even if now I think it's in plan B, but how do you see the country towards the way to EU?
To the European Union, actually, some people say, relating also to the latest campaign that we did in May, some people say that it was Prime Minister's promise for the enlargement, for the joining the European Union, that actually helped him to take that massive fake votes that he took. Personally, as someone who lives in Albania daily, and not only that has not only seen the capital city and the beautiful streets that usually people of other
Tourists
countries
come and
coming,
see.
yeah, tourists see in Albania. As someone who have seen Albania from the north to the south and even on the rural places, I don't think Albania will be joining. Unfortunately, I don't think Albania will be joining a European Union soon. Not only because of it is the corruption, is the bad things that are happening to all the systems in medicine, in education. I don't think we will be joining. And I actually find it quite surprising that there are people who believe this, that we will be joining the European Union. So
Well, I can tell you that those people are the ones who I think they believe that it's going to be a political decision from the European Union towards Albania. That only for geopolitics, they will say, yeah, we need Albania inside. We take it,
okay,
as it is.
there is another point. If we add the "we need Albania" on the sentence, but if we want to really, if we really need Albania into European Union, then we should help Albania to reach the standards and the criteria, that because it is kind of a win-win situation.
Exactly.
I don't think that will be happening soon, but even if if that happens, I would be happy. But I don't think that
Yeah,
will
yeah,
be happening.
exactly. It's very difficult. So I will just ask you a question a bit theoretical. Like tomorrow, you are minister or prime minister of Albania, like the first woman prime minister in the country. What would you change in Albania? What would be your first priorities there?
There are too many things to be changed.
Huge
Wait,
list,
because
right?
no, because I will be more specific, but starting from the general, there are too many things to be changed. What is close to my heart, that I have recently touched it as I was a student not so long ago, is the educational system, is the medical system, because there are people among my citizens that say, well, we pray to God that nothing happens to us because we don't trust. Plus, we don't have the financial capital to provide that medical support for ourselves. But the medical system is into a complete disaster. But personally, what I would change and what it would be my priority is doing or implementing some politics or some policies that strengthen the ties between Albanians, not only within the border of the Albanians Republic, but also Albanians living not only on diaspora, but thinking of these Albanians who are in Kosovo or in Macedonia or even in Greece, because I feel recently it is sad to notice that among the young generation this is not a big concern, but I see this kind of politics that Edi Rama had been doing the recent years of his government. It is separating Albanians not only within each other but also Albanians living into outside the borders of Republic of Albania, and that would be my priority, because I have also I mean, listening on a daily basis throughout the people that they are disconnected to such roots, and other people can also confirm that if you ask an Albanian from Kosovo, they would show more affection and they would be more connected to us than we are to them. And I think this is a matter of politics. And when it comes to discussing when it comes to discussing things like eating, living every day, having such difficulties on a daily basis, on surviving in Albania, you don't think much of the patriotism of the other Albanians living outside the border. So this is what makes me sad about more than anything else. This is what makes me sad about this government policy. So that
He's
would be
doing.
my priority.
Okay.
I'm not
And
speaking of the nationalistic and extremist things, of course not, absolutely. But we need some connection within each other.
well, it's true what you are saying, because once also I had a conversation here, and we were also saying that, okay, Albanians should work together. Doesn't mean that they have to make a war to be united, or go to war with other countries in the neighborhood, but they should find a way to work together. And
And
here is my other question, which is about those
I
Albanians that
wanted
you are
to add
speaking.
to add something actually
Yeah,
into
please.
this. For example, adding up to what I said, simple things and simple gestures that actually we think them as careless or something that does not have an importance. But imagine the impact that would have had on the population if our prime minister would have kneeled before the Kosovo's president.
Yeah,
Vjosa Osmani instead of the whatever, with all due
during
respect,
the
of the
meeting,
Italian
yes.
one. So imagine that small gestures, what impact would have had. So
Yeah, exactly. But then, so my question was like, how do you see, like, and do you think that is going to happen ever? As we are young Albanians who live abroad, and all of us, we come back at a certain point to Albania, even for tourism, even for family problems, or for just to come and to learn the country. Do you think that there is going to be ever a movement on young people coming back and investing in economy, in social life, in culture, in civil society, in politics, in businesses, instead of only going out? And if I may add also to this question, do you think it's going to be an inner will, or is going to be a political action from whatever party is going to be in the government at that moment?
I think that on current situation, such thing is impossible, because all everyone can see the statistics that show thousands of Albania leaving, especially young generation leaving the Albania, and I don't think that will be happening without the intervenience or the policies of any government that might be in power on that, but on current situation, no. I was just mentioning that our government is doing anything on its power to make the life of young generation harder. I mean, to leave Albania, and I don't think they will be coming into Albania to do such thing without the strong policies and without seeing and hope in Albania. So it's quite a paradox actually, because if you see the results of the 11th of May, it was like the fake results of those elections. You see that Diaspora was voting massively for the government, while the government is the reason why they are there. So why the majority of them are there. So I don't think that will be happening. It would be really a great thing though to happen. And also probably that also might somehow motivate, if that would happen outwards, so the younger generation to come into Albania, etc., etc., that would be kind of also motivating for us that are in here. But I
True.
don't think that even without the government policies, we cannot do anything.
Yeah. Well, I think as a young generation, I will consider myself also a young generation. That maybe we should start working also on ourselves. Like we should start slowly, without asking really the government come back. Start small investments, some actions, create institution, NGOs in Albania where we can really teach that it's not only the government who takes decision, but it's also the people who take decision. And I really hope that in the future we will have a mass movement towards Albania instead of outside the country.
It is yes, of course, each one of us has to do their part. For example, personally, what I always say to young generation or people younger than me that want to engage into politics, what all you can do for the moment is to educate yourself beyond whatever the educational system gives you, to educate yourself, because making the changes by ourselves, not compromising ourselves, remaining, I mean, having integrity on anything that we do on our daily life. That is the young generation that Albania needs. So, of course, but absolutely, that at the end of the day are the policies of the government that makes the difference. So for example, I have my one of my friends. She finished the bachelor studies on a public university here in Albania. Uh, she had absolutely. I mean, it was terrible for her, the conditions that were in universities, because I studied on a private university, and she went abroad to Netherlands just to pursue her master degree, and now she's currently facing this situation of housing, the problem of housing in there, and she soon will have no place to stay because they no longer accept students. You have to have a job in there. She hasn't found a job yet because she is getting graduated like the recent days, and she said this, Artjola, I don't know what I'm going to do here, but there's one thing that I know, that I'm not going back to Albania on that situation. I'm not going back to
Yeah.
Tirana to work on such salaries and to have that, that noisy life and all the sort of things that happening here.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's see what will happen in the next years in Albania, and let's see how active the youth will be in Albania, and hopefully. People like you in politics are going to show the right way of staying in the country, fighting for their rights, and working on a better future for themselves, but also for the younger generation that are coming.
I really hope that, and I would motivate all the youths to engage into politics on whatever party they believe in, or in whatever values they believe in, but just to have the integrity and to educate themselves and to give that contribution to that party, whatever it is. So that's the only way that the
Yeah.
country will move forward.
And as you say, and I will also say, it's more about values than money, because in Albania we see that it's everything about money, no values. Guys, we have to work on the values more. Artiola, I would really
Absolutely.
like to thank you for coming to my podcast. It was a real pleasure.
It was pleasure
And
for me too. Thank you for inviting
thank
me.
you. And I really wish you all the best in your political career. And of course, I'm going to have you after some months to see what has been increased or
Absolutely.
decreased in the
Would be a
political
pleasure.
youth in Albania.
Thank you. It'd be a
Thank you very
pleasure.
much. Thank you everyone for watching my podcast. Please follow us on social media and see you next week. Goodbye.